Yeah, it's going to be an on-time start, motherfuckers.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, what's up? My gosh, the live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast on time. On time. Hallelujah. 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 I can't hit those notes. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Okay, hold on. Before we get this going, I got to turn the couch so we can see O'Neill. Hold on. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It's not that I got up any earlier. I didn't really. I just worked a little quicker. Okay. Good morning, the live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast is, Denny says, shocking. Brought to you by A&E Heating and Cooling. My gosh, I am so lucky to have so many amazing sponsors. Otherwise, I'd have to, I wouldn't be doing this. I'll tell you that right now. So thank you, A&E Heating and Cooling. If you need anything heating and cooling, we got a guy here. Or I got a guy. It's not like I have a staff. aeheatingcooling.net or call them at 616-516-8579. You got, it won't be long until it's going to be cold. You got to fire up that furnace. Don't just flip it on, for God's sake. You got to make sure it's tuned up. Twice a year, you should see Joe Martinez. See the dentist twice a year. You see Joe Martinez twice a year. Joe Martinez a lot more handsome. 616-516 8579 for A&E Heating and Cooling. Okay. Bennett Flooring Installation. Jacob and Jason get the star right on the forehead for their efforts for kickstarting, I guess, the whole free Patreon thing. By the way, if you want to do free Patreon, if you're like the type of person that's like, hey, man, I'm going to throw some money in the pot and award some free Patreons to people, we can do that. All you have to do is reach out to me like Jacob, Jason, Kenny in Nashville, an anonymous person did, and throw some money at it, and I will go ahead and award Patreon memberships the same way we did this past week. So thank you for that. But Bennett Flooring Installation, that's who you want to call if you want to get some flooring installed. Doesn't matter what it is, carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank. 616-318-0167. This process is quick and painless and awesome. And by the way, Jacob, I did finally put the molding on with remember that video of me trying to get the compressor to work? Yeah, I finally figured it out. Thank you very much. And I got that done. So, you don't have to make fun of me anymore. I wouldn't say the room is completely the way it needs to be. It still has a touch of poverty to it because I did the work. But nevertheless, if you want it to look fantastic, call upon Bennett Flooring Installation. They show up, they measure, they say, all right, what do you want? You're like, I want vinyl plank. All right, okay, to install whatever it is you get, it's going to cost you this much. Okay, thanks. And then you go, you get your stuff, you leave it in the room. Jacob and Jason show up, or both, or one. And then they install it. Awesome. Thank you, Bennett Flooring Installation. I've got Gunsmiths on the show, too. BK Guns and Stuff. 616-902-2447. They are in Saranac, Michigan, part of the team of Saranac Shit Kickers. You can call upon them for any type of service to your firearm and anywhere in the United States as well. So that is definitely something that you can do no matter where you are. You can just send the weaponry to the pros at BK Guns and Stuff. You need more information, you can reach out to them via their website, and you can get to that, their Facebook page, actually, by just going to ericzaneshow.com and clicking on the BK Guns and Stuff logo. Okay, a busy day in store. It is Tuesday, the 1st of September. My gosh, here we go. The Eric Zane Show podcast.
My private part has been itching.
Begins now.
My private part has been itching.
And now, here's a guy who got tired of being fired by corporate radio. So he took up being fired by Patreon subscribers instead. It's the Eric Zane Show podcast.
Well, thank you very much, Johnny. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. This is the daily show covering news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. As you can see on the graphic, you can watch the live stream on YouTube. Just search Eric Zane Show. Also available via Facebook Live. Facebook is an Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids hybrid sponsored thing. And Twitter, Periscope videos brought to you by Blue Frost IT at Eric Zane Show on Twitter. Also have an Instagram thing. That's where I do Instagram Instant Trivia on Wednesdays. Each and every Wednesday. That is Instagram Instant Trivia is paid for, the prize, by MB Distributing and Baldwin Ace Hardware. Okay, that's where on Instagram I go Instagram Live. I invite you into the conversation, and one-on-one, I ask you trivia questions. If you get it right, you win a $10 prize, which I will immediately transfer over to you via Venmo or PayPal, or if, God forbid, I have to write you a check. Ugh. But, yeah, that is something, and that is brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Okay, yeah, every damn thing is sponsored. I've got room for a few more sponsorships. If you can see on this wall over here, right below the painting that John made me, below the health department, next to Horizon Hydroponics, diagonal from Green Clean, next to the guitar, other side of the guitar. These are all spots where we can get sponsorship. I've got a couple irons in the fire right now that I'm working on. But if you have a business and you would want me to talk about it on the podcast and get a wide swath of people hearing and seeing information about your business, well, you have to reach out to me, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. I would love to help you. I have as far of a reach as any radio station, backed by the power of the internet at a fraction of the cost. Okay. Right now, I mean, where I live right now is West Michigan. For the highest rated morning show in all of West Michigan, well, in some accounts, in Freeburn Hot Wings is so highly rated that their percentage of the audience has been so enormous for many, many years that it's actually talked about in other parts of the country. Okay? Basically, they have like 20% of the audience, and then about 20 other radio stations divide the other 80%. Think about that. That's absolutely ridiculously awesome. Now, truth be told, though, the audience pool is shrinking. So the amount of people listening to actual radio has decreased dramatically over the years, but they still have that percentage. And with that, it's a price tag. So if you wanted to get a 30-second ad on their show, it's probably going to cost you $110 for one 30-second ad. One! Shit, man, $110 goes a long way in the Eric Zane Show podcast, and I've got just as many people listening because of the vast number of audience that I can throw at with your business product or services to the audience on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, plus the audio podcast. It is it's quite a number. Let me tell you about it. A lot of people are like, "You're full of shit." It's like, oh, I don't think I am. I've got I'll give you the actual numbers written down on my analytics to show you precisely how many are listening. It is quite substantial. How do you think I've been able to be doing this for the past 2 years? Look at these sponsors. They get with me and they stay with me because fuck, man, the phone rings off the hook. Joe Martinez at A&E Heating and Cooling. That dude is like, holy shit, man. I spent hardly any money and I've transformed my business, man. He already was on the map. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm completely the one that's driven that. His terrific service and expertise has been the driving force behind that. But son of a bitch, man, he seriously, so many people. Bennett Flooring Installation, same thing, man. Those guys have just turned on the gas with this show, breathing some wind into the sails of those guys. But look, we got a lot of amazing things to talk about on the show. I don't want to just sit here and brag about myself. We've got a complaint coming in hard and fast. And right now, the person who issued the complaint is like, oh, man, this thing is one of the most, this is Amanda. This is, I think, beyond Amanda. Amanda is the Zaniac who sells dildos for a living. A beautiful, beautiful lady who has just, I mean, she's just the best. And it seems like every time she spoke for a period of time, she had a complaint. I think one of the apexes of the complaining on Amanda was when I was up at Fear Bunker North, and she goes, I don't like the position of the table that you're sitting at. Do you think you can move the table? I don't like it. And so it seemed like everything was a complaint. And then finally, everybody united and said to her, shut the fuck up. And so she did, but she took it in stride because she's a ball breaker and an ass kicker. If you want to buy her dildos, you can see her in any one of the usual spots. She's usually populating the live streams. Just look for Amanda. She sells dildos through, what is it called? Pure Jizz or something like that. Pure sensual juice. Sensualjuice.com. Puresensualjism.com is what no, I'm getting that wrong. It's Pure Romance. Okay? She's a dildo salesperson. All right. But anyway, the complaining, I'm just getting you caught up to speed here if you're new. If you're listening to the show and you hear somebody complaining, you might say, oh boy, you're starting to sound like Amanda, or you're going to win an Amanda award. Well, this one it came in hot via text. This is an audience member who has my cell phone number, and a number of people do. And complaint coming in hard and fast from Bleeding Heart Brian. Oh, my God, this is so embarrassing. Oh, shit. So I even texted him, dude, I'm going to murder you over this, because Bleeding Heart Brian had a realization that he was being an absolute bitch. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So when I don't think he listens live. I think he consumes the podcast via the audio on-demand deal, wherever you download podcasts. You give him so much shit. The Amanda Complainer of the Week award will go to Bleeding Heart Brian. Wait until you hear this. Big Dick Donnie apparently will be getting set to rejoice as America's second hottest governor is apparently going to let him slide the tip in. I will bring Big Dick Donnie on the show to talk about this a little bit later on. In case you don't know, Big Dick Donnie is in this current setup of the podcast, from this room. BDD was the very first sponsor. He reached out to me out of the blue. We had some success marketing his comedy club back on the BBL days. And So he came out of the woodwork when I started to do this podcast. So, he has the Back Alley Comedy Club, and this studio was named the Back Alley Comedy Club Studio for quite a while, and that is part of a bowling alley in Muskegon, Michigan, called Sherman Bowling Center, and he owns his own bowling alley. Now he doesn't own Sherman Bowling Center, but he has the property next to it, adjacent to it, like actually connected to it, as the comedy club. Don loves comedy, and he loves bowling. He's an excellent, excellent bowler, so he says. Danny Porter disagrees. And those are his two loves. He got into this line of work, promoting comedy shows, hosting comedy shows, and he owns Howard City Lanes up north, which is an old-ass place. And, with the coronavirus pandemic, he has been shut down. So his two livelihoods, both, fuck you. So, he has, he's just been through the ringer on this deal. So, and I've been talking about this for quite some time. We've had various listeners who have opened up their pocketbooks out of the kindness of their heart to help him out, and that has just been spectacular. A little more on that coming up, too, in just a second. Hey, hold the phone. This iPad is not charging, and it sure as hell needs to. So I cannot figure out what the hell is going on with this thing. Hang on. Why are you not charging? If I had a staff, I could get them to do this for me. Still no charge. That's not good. What is going on here? I can't really deal with it now. But if it goes south, that means we'll lose part of the show. So that means I have to... Brightness. Decrease. Perhaps I'll save some battery life. With a little luck, I'll get through it. All right, so Big Dick Donnie is set to join us in just a little while. That should be fun. Always good to get him on. The ball of energy. Two big balls of energy. Big Dick Donnie will join us today, and I'll also feature audio from Zaniac Kevin a little bit later on. More on that coming up in just a bit. Porn legend Ron Jeremy, speaking of sliding the tip in, is facing the music again after another 9 inches of rape allegations stack up against Ron Jeremy. Mariah Carey is going big against Ellen. She's going after Ellen, and in so many words, accusing her of being mean. I don't know, saying something that upset her. Killing her baby. What? Killing her unborn baby. That's how it's playing out. The drones are coming. Amazon is one step closer to something awesome. Thank you, Zaniac Kevin, for setting that story along. Story about a dude wrongfully imprisoned that I just was reading before the show got started. It will both piss you off and make you happy. Okay? But first, as we get started, around the Eric Zane Show podcast household, man, it has reared its face once again. No filter Kevin. These stories keep piling up. As I've indicated to you before, in case you don't know, my brother-in-law Kevin has moved in with Diana and myself after the untimely, sudden passing just over 1 month ago of Diana's brother David. The older of the two is Kevin. Together they made the Doobie Brothers. They were like, partners in crime for so long. So this shocking change took place where David had a very sudden passing. So, all right, here comes Kevin. Now, as I talked about yesterday, he has no filter. There is a reason for that. Go back and listen to yesterday's show. I describe it. But we keep dealing now with, even when he's expressing how much he loves you, you're going to be called a motherfucker and you're going to be referred to as a son of a bitch. Man, I love you, Eric, you motherfucker. I love you too, Kevy. Man, I love that dog, that son of a bitch, O'Neill. Oh, man, that dog, I sure love that cocksucking Bruce. So, for a guy who swears all the time like me, when it comes out of the blue like that, when you don't see it coming, it's like, what the fuck just happened? So, all right, great. So, you ever seen the film Joker, where you know how the actual character Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix, which I still say is one of the most impressive bits of acting I've ever seen in my life. I'm not an expert, obviously, but that movie, I've watched it twice now, and I could probably watch it 10 more times. Great film. Again, you forget in that film that he is like a supervillain. It could be just the story of a crazy man, and it would have legs. It doesn't even have to include really any of the Batman storyline. It's just so ridiculously awesome to see that performance of Joaquin Phoenix. So in the film, the character, he walks around with like business cards that he gives to someone if they feel like there's something wrong with them. You see, the character is constantly laughing at inappropriate times, where you and I might go, oh my God, or he would laugh. So he gives whoever is witnessing this behavior a card that says, "I'm sorry, I have a condition so that I laugh when I'm uncomfortable, or I laugh at inappropriate times." I'm not making this up. I actually want to have a card made similar to that for when someone threatens to kick my brother-in-law's ass when we're in public. Because Diana will take him shopping. And, I'm joking all the time in this show, but this is serious. If Kevin is in public, he might do something that rubs people the wrong way, and they will think that he's just being an asshole. Well, he kind of is, but you and I might just mute that and not let it leave our brain. It's coming out. It is coming out, and it happened again. One shopping trip, these two things happen. So, when you're walking down the aisle, Diana's walking with him down the aisle, and people pop out, maybe like with the grocery cart. I'm usually really cautious of that. I'm constantly looking because people are constantly darting out in front. And I'm Mr. After you. Please, after you, excuse me. I'm just trying to facilitate that, especially nowadays in the store. If you're not really super careful about what you're doing, you can bump into somebody, or somebody gets butthurt at you or mad or whatnot. So, you can't have that. But where most people would just, excuse me, or whatever, and you'll only be able to really get the idea of what I'm doing by seeing it on the live stream, but I'll describe it for you. He makes a face of impatience when someone has done this. And it's all nonverbal, but he'll roll his eyes and he'll put his hand out like, after you. Oh, sure, go ahead. So it looks kind of like, and a big sigh, rolling of the eyes. And then, meanwhile, the person who doesn't have any idea what's going on will walk out and look at him like, what the fuck did I just do? So, oh, boy. Oh, boy. Ew. That actually happened just the other day. Somebody and the person didn't say anything, but the time's going to happen when it will. So I have to avoid, and because he is like a light switch, you piss him off and he's going to rage on you. And oh boy, that's the last thing we need, is some type of fight in the store and somebody getting arrested. And it's gotten worse over the years. So we gotta do something about this. And I am not bullshitting you. I'm gonna have like business cards made explaining what's happening. Hey, can you read this? And then and then I don't know, somehow Diana can diffuse it, or I can diffuse it's, oh boy. Or maybe because otherwise I'm gonna be like, no, please don't kick his ass. His brain's cooked. And then he's probably gonna kick my ass too. So oh my God. And I know what you're saying. You want to just have a talk with him. That's happened. It's not so simple. You're dealing with many variables involved in his brain, and I've detailed it in past shows, but just real quickly, it's years of brain torment from epilepsy, electric signals shocking his brain in crazy ways, the open head surgery that cut his brain in half and removed a gigantic portion of his brain. I mean, actually cut it out of his head. Oh my God. So and the medicine, he's been years he's been having to take medicine. So it's tough on him. Okay, so Diana's walking. It doesn't make it any less funny, though. Diana's walking to the store with him, and he wants to get this, like, certain type of frozen Chinese thing. You, like, open it up, and you throw it in the microwave, and you got instant mugu gai pan or some shit. I don't know, sweet and sour pork with dumplings. And he's looking for it in the frozen section. And Diana says, "Do you see it?" He goes, "I don't know. I don't see it yet. I don't see that motherfucking son of a bitch." He's looking around. Where is that motherfucking shit? Fucking whore bitch, son of a bitch, asshole, wonton, motherfucking mugu guy pan shit, motherfucker shit. Diana's like, "Oh, fuck, man, here we go." And so people would see him, his eyes darting around and looking at the frozen foods, looking through the frosted glass. Okay, shit, man. I wanted that sweet and sour chicken with the dumplings. Damn it. Motherfucking shit, motherfucker. And it's not there. So if you were walking by him, you would then see him get frustrated and lift both middle fingers and go, fuck you, motherfucker, fuck, to the food. He's giving the fucking finger to the fucking frozen food. Diane's like, okay, all right. So there you go. That is No Filter Kevin at it again. If you see Diana with one half of the Doobie Brothers, No Filter Kevin, just you're seeing a legend. That fart got to me. And okay. Eventually, he will make an appearance on the show. Don't worry. I just don't know when. Okay? Then at home, Bruce started humping again. And the last time it happened, from across the house, we're all in different parts of the house. You hear, Eric! Yeah, Bruce is humping. I can see that little pink dick again. Standing next to Madison when that all happens. I'm like, fuck. Get Bruce, put him in the in his little kennel, give him a timeout for 5 minutes, let him settle down. All right. I actually got a visual thing, and this is something that you'll have to see again on the live stream. So for you folks on the live stream, I'll actually do what he did, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, I'll explain what's happening after. Bruce started doing it again. And I actually got a visual example of it because No Filter Kevin was in my line of sight, and we're all just kind of standing around the kitchen, and he's in the other room. And then, Eric! Yeah! He's doing it again. He's doing it again. And he's air humping. He's doing air humping. And we're all like, God. Oh, so just another day. And, if you think about it, we are just off and running with content in terms of this new dynamic. And so when people say to me, so how's it going? It's going great. It's actually going excellent. I have moments where I laugh out loud, other moments where I cringe. It all makes it on the podcast. It is a win-win all the way around. Diana's with her brother, and as we regroup from the sudden passing of David, I've got loads of content flying at me, and it's a winner. I see this going down the road of he's going to have his own T-shirt one day, you know? So there you go. That is the latest with my beloved brother-in-law, No Filter Kevin. Let me take you through the latest Amanda complaint winner. Eric needs his glasses. Blow by blow, this is what happened. Bleeding Heart Brian, who listens over on the east side of the state, drives truck every day. I know I'm being petty, but is there any way in the graphics for Apple Podcasts for you to differentiate the free podcast and the Patreon bonus podcast? They both look the same, and now I'm confused as to which one to click. Okay, so if you are listening to the show on Apple Podcasts, the free podcast, this one, it has my logo. It says Eric Zane Show Podcast. When you're subscribed to the Patreon, it's the same thing. So it shows up on like shows you listen to. And like if Bleeding Heart Brian were looking at his phone, he would see an icon for I Love Joe Biden podcast, I Love Antifa podcast, Talking Black Lives Matter podcast, Anything Liberal podcast, the Eric Zane Show podcast number 1. It would just have my logo, and right next to it, it would say Eric Zane Show podcast. And I wrote back, doesn't it say Patreon in the description? And he sent me a screenshot. So I'm looking at right there. Antifa Love podcast, Joe Biden podcast, Barack Obama I Love You podcast, Republicans Should Die podcast, I Hate Donald Trump podcast, and Eric Zane Show podcast twice. This is what I see when I go to my recent podcast. There's no way without clicking onto the logo into the podcast to tell which one I'm opening. I know I'm being petty, LOL. Maybe have a graphic for the Patreon and you could change. Okay, maybe you could. He wants me to, where it says Eric Zane Show Podcast, he wants me to add the word Patreon onto the logo. And I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking to myself, that would make sense. Now, if you click on one or the other, let's say you click on the first one, within 1 second, you will see that any of the descriptions of any of the episodes, it says Patreon on it. So in the amount of time that it would take for him to open up his most recently listened to thing on his Apple Podcast, all he would have to do is touch the screen, look at it, and in that amount of time, he would be able to determine whether or not he's looking at the Patreon. If not, he just hit the arrow in the upper left and then switch over to it. It's easy. But he's right. They look the same. So he is encouraging me to have artwork made or switch it. I wrote, I see. Yeah, I have to get more artwork made. And then I think he realized that he looks like a complete bitch. He goes, well, I could just open the damn thing as I do now and go, damn it, wrong one. Instead, he has this realization, I'm being an Amanda and complaining the artwork isn't to my liking. Laughy face, laughy face. And I said, no problem. I just hired the artist. He's about $45 an hour, so I'll just go ahead and pay that thanks to you. I'm totally rich. I've got money coming out of my ass. Not really. And then I wrote, I'm totally talking about this on the podcast tomorrow, and I'm totally fucking with you as well. I didn't pay anybody for anything. LOL, I can't wait. And I missed my calling as an artist. Oh, my God. Jeez. Zane, will you go ahead and change the artwork so that I don't have to click on it to look? Oh, yeah, that's on the top of my list of things to do right now. Never mind the fact that it actually would cost money to do that. How about the fact that, I've got so much fucking going on right now. Like, I want to sit there and listen to you. Let's see. Patriot Nick says, anybody who complains gets the Amanda voice. I think she is actually enjoying this podcast right now. Kevin says, Amanda, your voice has become legendary. So if I were to take all of Bleeding Heart Brian's stupid ass commentary, it would fly towards me as, I know I'm being petty. Is there any way in the graphics for Apple Podcasts for you to differentiate the free podcast and the Patreon bonus podcast? They both look the same, and now I'm confused as to which one to click onto. Ugh. Shit. This is what I see when I go to my recent podcasts. What a bitch. My God. Ooh. I think Brian is actually with us right now enjoying the live feed. Uh-oh. That's kind of rare, I think. Come on, pick up, knucklehead.
Oh, no.
Oh, you are so fucked. Holy shit, man.
Oh, that's great.
At which point during all of that did you like, oh fuck? I mean, did you know the whole time that it was a pain in the ass move?
Yes. Yep. But as soon as I hit send, I was like, I should have done that.
Oh man, I knew it the second I got it. Like, oh, he's dead. He's dead. He's just fallen for the trap. Oh my God.
Well, you just changed it recently.
Yeah, I did.
Something completely different.
It used to say just Eric Zane Show, and I changed it to Eric Zane Show Podcast.
And I could tell the difference between the two.
Yeah. So I mean, okay. All right. Well, duly noted. I'll get to that after I do the 8 million other things, as I'm working absolutely 100% solo and independent. I got nothing else going on than to satisfy your artistic cravings.
I'll be over here patiently waiting.
All right. Why are you actually driving right now on the road?
I'm actually driving right now. Yes.
All right. Well, be safe, okay? Everybody loves you, you know. And when you get done, what are you listening to? The Antifa podcast, the Joe Biden podcast. Which one is it?
The QAnon podcast.
QAnon podcast. I see. So, do you realize you're part of the blue team for the debate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I realize this.
Some people, I know you were really, really hurt by Zaniac Dirk and his one-sided Republican ramblings the other day. Isn't that right? It really upset you.
Get his tinfoil hat on. Wait till tonight.
Tinfoil hat on? Really? What is that? What do you mean by that?
The Alex Jones conspiracy theories.
You just dropped out on sound. Did you go to Bluetooth or something?
I may have.
All right, never mind.
I may have lost cell phone signal.
It's back. Okay, so you didn't like him just talking unchecked.
Correct.
Okay, you have given birth to the debate is 1 month away. I'm establishing a team of blue and red. It'll be you. It'll be a rainbow flag Jeremy, and who else is on your team? There's another.
Blue State Rob Blue State.
Oh yes, Rob Blue State. Okay, so Bleeding Heart Brian, Rob Blue State, and Rainbow Flag Jeremy represents the Democrats. For the Republicans, I've got Red State Dirk, White John Coffee Jason, and who is the third one? Oh, Patriot Nick.
Patriot Nick.
Yes, so there you go. 3-on-3, red versus blue. I'll be the moderator for this ridiculous shit show. That will be a separate fucking podcast. And you guys are going to duke it out, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye.
All right, there you go. Bleeding Heart Brian joining me on the show. All right, I better keep this out because I got to get a hold of Big Dick Donnie in a little bit. He's got some good news flying his way. All right, the open of the Eric Zane Show podcast brought to you by several key sponsors. As always, thank you to them. The first one is Shoreliners Striping. This is a business in and around the West Michigan area, even a little bit further than that. They stripe parking lots. You ever drive into a brand new, newly sealed parking lot, newly redone blacktop, and they've put the nice yellow stripes in? You go, fuck, man, whoever runs this place is just, they've got their act together. This looks fantastic. It's the first impression, man. Make sure that thing is striped appropriately with the arrows going the right way, you know, no parking written on the ground, all that shit. They do that at Shoreliner Striping. Their website is shorelinerstriping.com. Prince Arming, they have another class coming up September 12th to give you CPL training, September 12th. At 8 a.m., that is a Saturday if you want to take the class. The class allows you to get your concealed pistol license. 616-204-1705, being taught by retired U.S. Army Major Steve Prince, all right, in Holland Township, Michigan. If you're in the area, that's the class you want to take. He is the best. 616-204-1705, or click on his website, or click on his logo on my website. It'll take you right to his Facebook page. Click on events and then sign up online for the class. That's all you need. You take the class, you're certified at the end of it. You take the certification to your county and then apply for your pistol license. You don't need a gun to take the class. You can borrow one of his. Okay, you can rent one of his. Prince Arming will it costs you $125 for his class. All right, there you go. And finally, A&D Cleaning 616-550-3644. Amy Porter wants you to reach out to her if you need your home cleaned in and around the West Michigan area. Okay? It makes a great gift. Dudes, if you want to make the lady happy, have Amy clean the house. You don't need to lift one finger. She just shows up. She's got all the gear. She's insured. She's bonded, whatever the hell that means. And, man, it's going to be an amazing, amazing thing when she makes your house look that much more fantastic. Thank you to A&D Cleaning for being on board with the show. One half of A&D Cleaning, I guess, is her husband, Denny Porter, who is pals with Big Dick Donnie Veltman, who I'm bringing in right now to talk about the good news.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, word on the street is that the governor's going to let you slide the tip in very soon. Is that correct, do you think?
Yeah, everything I've heard, that's what's going to happen. The rumor is sometime tomorrow she's going to make the announcement, and it'll be for September 8th, so the day after Labor Day, that we'll be able to open.
Oh, damn it. I thought it was going to be like immediate. She's just like, turn on the spigot.
Please.
No.
Yeah.
Do you think when she makes the announcement, she's going to like roll her eyes and kind of go, well, I guess I got to open the bowling alley. So you, in your mind's eye, do you picture that possibly happening?
Yeah, I figure there's going to be something along those lines. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to be like front and center. It's just going to be quickly glossed over and then move along. I feel like she hates to admit any type of defeat or giving in.
After all the information I've received from people like you, it's hard to deny what you just expressed. And that's coming from someone who has been very complimentary about her efforts during the pandemic. But you explained something to me last time you visited last week about one of the reporters in that press conference last week tried to push back and challenge her. Do you remember what you were telling me?
Yeah, there was the initial question where they asked about opening up, the industries that were still closed, and she quickly shut it down. And her response was something along the lines of, I won't be bullied into reopening. I'm watching the her press conference, and I'm just thinking, come on, like this is all we're really going to get out of this. I was hoping to get at least something, some type of information of where she was heading with all this. And then thank God this guy like traces back and he says, well, these industries are open up north. Do you have data? Have there been any outbreaks at these types of businesses? Any data? And she just looked like a deer in headlights and then goes, off the top of my head, I don't have that information. Dr. Khaldun, do you have that information? Like the way she just shifted to her and like chuck the hot potato to her.
Oh my God.
And then you can just hear Dr. Khaldun off in the distance. They don't even pander. And she's like, yeah, I don't have that data off the top of my head either. And I'm thinking, they've been open for 3 months. I know the data myself. There hasn't been anything. We've been asking for this forever. Like, hey, these places are open up north. What are you seeing there? What are they doing? What can we do here? And no response whatsoever.
More than likely, she did have the data. She did know what that reporter knew. I would have had more respect if she said, yeah, it's been very good. And there have been no outbreaks, which has us giving a good hard look at the next step. I think that would have flown a hell of a lot more than off the top of my head, no.
Yeah, and I've tried to be understanding and like, hey, I get it. That's a tough job that she's doing. She's trying her best to keep people safe. But when things like that happen consistently, where, we've asked for information, we can't get anything whatsoever, and then she has responses like that, it's really hard to not feel like there's something more there. When there's Jim's filed lawsuits and had won, and we're lumped in with Jim's, and then all of a sudden, we should have been open, everything that we were seeing, we were going to be open in mid-June, early July, and all of a sudden it's like, no, you're not going to be open because of that. And basically, that's kind of what it's felt like. There's, the data's pointed towards we should be open. And then, we've now gone like 2 months where I would have expected we would have been open and not opened. And basically she's pushed it to the very last minute before, our busy season starts with leagues. Most leagues start right after Labor Day. And now she's pushed us right up to the limit of that. To actually get those leagues started at this point is next to impossible. She's really put us into a bad spot, but hey, being open is better than not being open. So I don't want to sound like complainer Amanda that lives across the street from me. I found out.
Yeah. You just found out the other day. I saw you made a comment on the live stream that she is in your neighborhood, man.
Yeah, she called up. She didn't call up. She messaged me about a bowling league, and we got talking a little bit, and she wanted to bowl, and I gave kind of my standard response that, we're not open for bowling because I don't know who she is. And then she mentioned who her dad was, who I know very well. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then she mentioned that she just moved up here. And I said, where? She described where she lived. And it turned out there's like the house directly across the street and then the house like kind of kitty corner to me. She lives there.
Right. Well, I tell you what, she's spectacular. She's one of the biggest supporters of the show. She loves you. And I have a feeling that she's very aggressive when it comes to lovemaking. So I'm concerned for some of the locals on league night if she shows up there and she's wound up. You might have a couple of guys walking out of there with like really swollen ears from her grabbing onto their heads at some point during the night's activities. Your thoughts about it possibly having to hire security to keep Amanda from attacking some of the locals at Howard City Lanes?
Knowing some of the locals around here, I think they'll be very receptive to that.
Oh, yeah.
It might actually be like a promotional night for
her. Well, and she's a local dildo salesperson too. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't. I better keep her away from my wife then.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Yes, this a whole new world is opening up to the locals at in Howard City, Michigan. This is spectacular. Wow.
I don't need my wife to get whole new expectations. I'm working with a lot down there, but hey, some of these dildos.
I know it, Don. Everybody knows how much you're packing heat. And I mean, it may give her some of her top of the line gigantic products may measure up, but I don't know. Probably not. Don, you said you were talking about league night. To be able to open the leagues, will you still be able to have the leagues if you are able to open like you're suspected that it will?
From my understanding, the president of the Bowling Center Association of Michigan, BCAM, called me yesterday, and he said, "Hey, our lobbyist just got done talking with Lieutenant Governor, and the Lieutenant Governor said there's an announcement coming Wednesday, and you'll be very pleased with the announcement." And he's like, I can't say exactly what that means, but we kind of all knew that we were opening already. That word had kind of already come down. So he's like, based on that, I feel like we're going to be somewhere in the area of what Illinois is doing, Indiana, Ohio, which is New York opened up at like 25% capacity, which is very tough for leagues. At 50% capacity, which is what some of those states are at, I think Illinois is actually at full. So we're somewhere in that vicinity is what we're expecting. We should be able to run our leagues without issue. For the leagues that do have concerns, we've got contingency plans too that work.
I want you to expect the worst. I want you to expect her to say bowling alleys can open up at 1%. And then each year they open up 1% more, so that in 100 years you will be able to have your league.
My worst expectation is that she goes on and she announces that gyms and theaters are open, but they still need to look more into bowling alleys. There's still some concerns there. That's fully what I expect. That we're just going to get an about face and like everything's open but us.
There are actually 8 alleys or 6 alleys?
Or 6 lanes.
Wait a minute, 6 lanes. Why did I say alleys? What an idiot. 6 lanes at this old school venue that has been around since what year? What year did Howard City Lanes open up?
As a bowling alley, it opened up in the early 40s. The building was built like in 1880 or late 1870s.
Oh my God! What have you been able to find any artifacts around that place from a bygone era?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's some amazing stuff in the basement when it comes to a trip down history lane, and then also I have all the old maps and building specs and everything. When I bought the place, I got all that stuff, which is pretty cool. It's pretty ancient.
Yeah, it's an old school building. Yeah, you ever find any racist shit on the side, like no blacks allowed signs or anything stored down in the basement or anything?
I have not found that. I don't think that happened.
No, okay. Wait.
I'm going to go with no.
Oh, it absolutely happened. Back in the day, man, holy shit, man, everyone was a racist.
Howard City's very progressive, so.
Okay, one more thing. What the fuck was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh, damn it. Oh, what about comedy? What's in the works for comedy?
Comedy, that's kind of a little bit of a gray area. We've got some shows coming up outdoors, September 11th, September 12th, Muskegon and Rockford. Then like every Friday out in Muskegon outdoors, we're going to be doing some. I've got one in the works for Howard City, the 26th of September, but I'm thinking because the location in Muskegon is attached to the bowling alley, which serves food, which makes it not like a standalone banquet hall, all that kind of stuff, whatnot. I think it'll actually be able to open at, capacity limitations, but that place holds like 400 something.
Right. Yeah.
So you can easily, spread people out and probably be, 70 to 100 people there and to keep people well within, well outside 6 feet of each other. So we'll do probably a lot of like the regional shows, nothing national, because a lot of those guys, they're just not going to come out for 7,500 tickets.
If you could keep me informed, because as I said, I want to make sure that people know about it. And I always that shit like that always falls through the cracks for me, and then I forget. So if you could keep me informed about all those things, so that we can we can talk about it on the show.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Appreciate that.
we're gonna have a blowout. We're gonna have a gigantic Zane Show podcast, Howard City Lanes adventure like we did before to get you back on track as best we can in our own special way, and come see you very soon. Okay.
That'd be awesome. Appreciate that.
Okay, Don. Tell the family I said hi. I kind of don't want to say congratulations because it's just fucked up that we're in this spot to begin with. But I'm very happy for you. You know.
I appreciate that.
You know, it's just you trying to turn it around, and nothing that you did. You know, it's all just kind of happened.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Back to the family, I just wanted to let you know that Vaughn, after listening to my cameo, he's now looking for his real dad. So I appreciate that.
Shit. Now I'm so glad you reminded me of the cameo. You had a birthday. You were a birthday boy just last week.
He actually was listening as I was listening, and he thought that was the greatest thing.
Oh, yes.
When
Yes.
mentioned that I wasn't the dad, and he thought that was just hilarious. So, I appreciate that.
That is spectacular. Denny Porter set me on the case. If the audience wants to see it, I'll link it up in the show notes. But if you do want to see it, go to cameo.com/Eric Zane. It's the most recent one of me ripping Don a new one on his birthday. Denny Porter, he put me up
fake
to that.
Fake news, Denny.
Denny fake news. Sorry, yes, fake news, Denny fake news. Denny Fake News suggested that you're really not that good of a bowler. That might be the most hurtful thing he said about you. He suggested that to me when I wasn't podcasting recently.
I'll take Denny Fake News, Denny Porter on Howard City Lanes for $100 a game.
Okay,
anytime.
Oh, you hear that, Denny? You fucker! He just dropped the gauntlet on you. All right, very good. I will talk to you very soon, Don. Thanks again, and
Thanks, Eric.
And good luck to you. I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay.
There you go. Big Dick Donnie Veltman. He joins us again in the podcast. Always a good time. Holy shit, we covered a lot of ground there. Good for him. I'm glad he'll be able to get back after it. But, man, that has just been a long time coming. Son of a bitch. All right, where are we here? Okay. I didn't promise, but I suggested that I would be having another critique of Zaniac Kevin and Muskegon's Zaniac's Global.
The clip of the day.
Clip of the day segment. Now, here's what you got. Zaniac Kevin in Muskegon does know quite a bit about how to make your content known. He's constantly giving me pointers about, hey, Zane, you have to tell people to go to your YouTube channel. It's very important that you do that. Tell them to follow you on YouTube, search Eric Zane Show, have them subscribe, click the subscribe button, click the thumbs up button if they like it, stuff like that. He's constantly... So he does have plenty of knowledge regarding the game, okay? And he informed me that because of his love of the show that he wanted to start doing the clip of the day, which helps me. It really does help me. Every little bit helps. So I was flattered that someone would take the time to do the
clip of the day.
So you have a video podcast, and Kevin is there, and he also does a sports podcast, and so he asked me if I was going to give him another Eric Zane Show podcast critique, which I've kind of established it as the Eric Zane Show podcast punch in the mouth show critique, and then Zaniac's Global is again being discussed. I would describe the Zaniac's Global clip of the day as improving all the time. I would describe it right now as only 100% unlistenable. It has moved up in the ranks from suicide-inducing to if you listen to it, you won't want to kill yourself anymore. He has actually improved, and he's improving rapidly. I will say this. And so no longer when you listen to
The clip of the day.
will you want to slice your wrists or throw yourself out of the window. You will only just listen to it for about 10 seconds and then shut it off. So that's a good thing. That is positivity. That is improvement on Zaniacs Global's.
The clip of the day.
Now, what this boils down to is I'm going to describe it for you, Kevin, in your in the Eric Zane Show podcast, Punch in the Gut critique of Zaniacs Global. In this clip, I'm actually doing a clip of his clip, doing clip of the day. He simply sets up what he's about to play, and then plays like the entire thing, like 8 minutes worth of me, in this case, talking about the kid who got attacked by the kite monster in Taiwan. Now, it's real easy for me to sit here and nitpick someone who's a greenhorn, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and dance around anything and hope that he gets better. I am doing this out of love by being as aggressive as I can with me describing the good and the bad and the ugly of
the clip of the day.
And if I sit here and say, well, I'm liking what I'm hearing so far, that means he's going to continue to do fucked up shit that everybody hates. So it's very important that I be go hard on this young man, because he's informed me that he can take it. You have improved. I only want to turn it off now. Okay? It's 100% unlistenable as of right now. But you have improved because I no longer want to hang myself when I hear it. There is something in the world, Kevin, known as inflection. You have none. You need to change how you sound. Now, I understand that this is how you talk, and this is what you do. Well, that's fine. You can continue to be that way, and then no one will be listening to
the clip of the day.
So now, I will say this. In this clip, there was 2 moments. This is going to sound ridiculous. This is all, I'm having fun at your expense, but this is also legit. There was 2 moments in here where your tone of voice changed, and in one of those, you actually opened your eyes. First of all, I'm looking at you, and it looks like you're stoned to the bone because your eyes are like this. You look like Tommy Chong. Your eyes are like barely open. And at one point, you actually opened your eyes wide. I want you to practice, either while you're doing it or even in the mirror. I don't give a shit what you do. But you need to throw some emotion into it, which will cause you to inflect, and your words will flow more, and it's all practice, okay? As it is right now, it's unlistenable. But I want everybody to search Zaniacs Global on YouTube, and let me be the person who critiques Kevin, because there won't be anybody who can be more mean in a critique than me. I'm the best at it, okay? So let me do the dirty work of critiquing Kevin. He's going to get better. He's already better. I've gone from suicide to only not being able to listen to it. This is the latest edition of
the clip of the day
with Zaniac Kevin in Muskegon. Starts with music.
I never got into flying kites as a kid. I tried it once. It just wasn't for me. And, I just had no interest in it. But if they were kites this size, I would have been interested. And,
oh, fuck.
Yeah, today's clip is
Did you hear
pretty
that?
wild.
He said, yeah. All right.
This size, I would have been interested. And, yeah, today's clip is pretty wild. And this little kid or young
fuck.
kid, I don't know how old he
Oh,
was
fuck me.
or is, went for a wild kite ride.
Okay,
And you'll see it now
there you
in
go.
the clip.
The clip of the day.
Back on track. Did you see the video of the kid? Holy shit.
Oh my God!
What a thing.
What the fuck?
Man, I tell you. Okay, I'm telling you, you are improving. And I want the audience to go to Zaniacs Global on YouTube so we together can witness the improvement as we try to make Zaniac Kevin in Muskegon a legitimate content distributor in the world today. If we are successful at this, if I am successful at helping him, or if his show takes off, that's the greatest upset that has ever happened ever. Okay, think of any gigantic upset that's happened in sports or whatever, or Academy Awards. If Kevin gets to 100 subscribers, that will be the biggest upset. So you need to take what I'm telling you and enjoy the ride with us, okay? We need to get Kevin to 1,000. So if you're within the sound of my voice, stop what you're doing, somehow search out Zaniacs Global on YouTube and hit subscribe. We need to pump some energy into his sales, okay? Now, I've talked to Kevin when he's not podcasting. I've spoken to him on this show, in fact. He's not all the time like, Kevin, this is what I want you to do to pump some life into you. I want you to pretend like someone's actually out to get you, chasing you down, or maybe, I don't know, someone's trying to kill your dog. How would you respond? You would be all agitated and wound up. I want some life, some energy. We have spirit. Yes, we do. We have spirit. How about you? We've got spirit. Yes, we do. We've got spirit. How about you? Okay, I'm not feeling it, okay? All I feel is, you ever see the film, any of the Harry Potter movies, okay, or read the books? Well, there's characters in there called the Dementors, okay? And when the Dementors show up, everybody's like, oh, what the fuck is going on? It's terrible. And everybody starts to feel bad, and they're filled with sorrow and pain and angst and grief as the Dementor's negative energy is sucking the life out of them. And you see the life force leaving Harry as he's getting the Dementor's kiss. You're the fucking Dementor. You're sucking all the life out of the room with... That's what they're hearing. So, I just call it like I see it. So, in fact, I think it's important that I try to get him in here right now. He's one of the biggest allies of my show. Hopefully, he's hanging in after this murdering that I'm giving, but he asked for it. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you ask for an ass kicking, I am not going to fucking be a pussy about it. You're going to get it. And so there's only one way to end these horrible habits. And that is by beating the shit out of you publicly. All right. How are you?
Pretty good.
Okay. Now I want some energy out of you. I'm getting I've given you weeks to get some energy here, and I want you to get pissed off. And if you have to, make me the enemy. Bill Belichick, everybody hated him, but he didn't. Vince Lombardi, they all hated that guy, but they won. Fucking Scotty Bowman. All these are great examples. I'm the Scotty Bowman here. You need to fill up the energy.
Yeah,
Okay. So you're going to do it, right?
definitely.
Okay. That's what I like to hear because I love you. You're like one of the sweetest, kindest souls in the world, but I cannot let you go another episode with that low ebb. So have to fire that shit up.
Yeah, it's just it's just a matter of
It's practice.
being in the right mind state, and like,
Yep.
yeah, yesterday it was kind of hard.
I get it. You gotta shut all that shit out, man. I mean, we got problems all the time. If you're gonna be a content distributor, you must be able to wall that off. You gotta practice. And unfortunately, you're practicing for the world to see you practice. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. If you can take a pounding from me, you can take anything.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely start bringing more energy. Definitely.
Yep, absolutely. And then you'll get better at it. It is getting better. Like I said, it has improved, but if you sell it more, you'll actually, and what'll happen is then, and on that short intro that you have for the Zaniacs Global for the clip of the day, that's just a brief little intro to the clip. As soon as you master that, then you'll be able to, for a longer period of time, be able to carry on that type of dialogue for whatever it is you're parking on. Let's say you're parking on the Lions and you want to talk for extended time about Matthew Stafford. If your energy dips low, nobody's going to listen.
Yeah, no, Stafford, I mean, well, football in general, that has some, it just brings up a lot of energy and a lot of anger or excitement.
I get the feeling that you're like if there's like a metaphorical comparison of your speaking pattern, it's like you're a car with an 8-cylinder car with only 3 spark plugs.
Yeah, well, it's early, man. It's 9 a.m.
I don't buy this shit. I'm gonna help make you a star. I'm gonna help 10%, and the rest is you.
Hey, man, seriously, I'm gonna try.
You gotta commit. You gotta commit. You can't have those start stops and those long pauses and all that shit. You gotta get rid of all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Everybody loves you. I'm encouraging people to go to Zaniacs Global on YouTube and subscribe and watch you come out of your shell. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
And I will.
Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
I'll bring the energy.
I'm gonna revisit this in 1 month, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of you again.
I'll bring the pain.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Go get them.
All right.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
All right, see you. There you go. Zaniac Kevin. We have spirit. Yes, we do. We have spirit. How about you? Oh, my God. All right. Okay. That was another edition of Eric Zane Show podcast, Punch in the Mouth show critique of Zaniacs Global with your host, Kevin in Muskegon. Talk to Big Dick Donnie. Check. Bowling alleys apparently opening. More coming up, including Ron Jeremy, Bleeding Heart Brian, in between listening to the Antifa podcast and complaining all the damn day. Sent me a link about fucking porn star Ron Jeremy. I have a lot to talk about with that. And Mariah Carey. Oh, boy. Yikes. If you want to win a $25 gift certificate to Big Dick Donnie's bowling alley, Howard City Lanes, I need you to email me. Now, I'll be honest here. Howard City Lanes is way off the beaten path. Small community. And so, I mean, not everybody goes out of their way to get to Howard City Lanes. You will for when I host that event coming up as the bowling alley reopens. But what I have here, courtesy of from Rick at TC Paintball, is 4 $25 gift certificates to Howard City Lanes, and we're going to give them away. But I am doing this, opening it only on email. So I know this is like, fuck, man, nobody emails. Well, you have to. That's the only way I can do this. I don't have the means for you to text it in or anything like that. So you have to email, okay? Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Subject line, bowling. That's all you got to do. Email me your name if it's not included in your email, and subject line bowling, and you are in the drawing for the $25 Howard City Lanes gift certificate courtesy of TC Paintball. Okay? Thank you, Rick. That was very kind. You know, that was we had a period of time where we had listeners coming out of the woodwork. Mike Ball from MB Distributing gave a ton of dough. Dirk Redstake gave his winnings from Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia to Don. And Rick from TC Paintball. Oh man, it's just been fantastic. So that's kind of like been helping Don along both mentally and financially. And Rick added to that pile. So I'll be giving those away. You must email. I'm going to have the giveaway happen on Friday during this show. Eric at ericzaneshow.com, subject line, bowling. This show originates from the Metalworks Body Shop Fear Bunker Studio. Each and every day, Metalworks Body Shop. If you have an RV and you crack it up, that's where you go. Couldn't be more simple of an advertisement. Okay? You know, there's literally hundreds of body shops for things like cars and stuff like that. And truth be told, they will actually fix cars and boats. But, man, they're the authority at Metalworks Body Shop on campers, travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes. You name it, man. Here you spend all this fucking money on the damn thing and you crack it up. Your wife's going to think you're a dick. Oh, my God. She was going to give you sex for the big weekend festivities by the fire. And you blew it because you cracked up the camper, dummy. Well, you got to get it fixed. Fear not. Just say to her, look, honey, you can still give me anal by the fire because I'll be taking it to Metalworks Body Shop in Coopersville, Michigan. You need more info, go to metalworksbodyshop.com or click on their logo on my website, and it will take you right to their Facebook page. Please mention me when you call upon Metalworks Body Shop. I've got a free furnace giveaway. Hold on a second. I don't want to talk about that yet. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Blue Frost IT, 616-200-8550. The managed IT service provider for the show. If your business needs IT tech support, and most of you do, I mean, the last thing you want to have is where do we begin when everything goes kablooey? You want to have that team ready to go, so if there is a problem, you can just call upon Alan and Ashlyn at Blue Frost IT and be like, yeah, this thing just went apeshit. And he's going to, all right, no problem. Let me just remote in, and then he's off to work on it. Okay, yeah, I can fix most of this from here, but I have to show up at your place. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Boom. Boots on the ground tech support from Blue Frost IT. Kick those other bastards that are servicing your company to the side because they're charging you more if you go over your minutes or your hours that they have allotted for you, and then you're going to get really, really screwed in the butthole. Reach out to Blue Frost IT at 616-200-8550 and ask about the solid-state hard drive upgrade for your kid's computer so that their computer runs much faster. I might have to do that, actually. I have a laptop. In fact, that is going to happen. I will make that call, and they're coming over, and they're going to do the transfer from the shitty old-school hard drive to the solid-state hard drive so that the computer runs appropriately. 616-200-8550. Last but not least, Kent County Health Department remind you to cough into your elbow. Please be socially distant if you can. And wear a mask, too. I went into Meijer yesterday, and I was kicking myself. No mask. And I'm like, shit. Well, maybe they've got like a batch at the front door. You know, there's a sign right there that says masks required for entry. They'll let you in. I've noticed that you see the usual suspects. I judge people so hard when they go walking into Meijer without a mask. I'm like, look at this guy. What a fucking idiot. I'm always in my head judging them. Oh, I better be careful. It's that type of language use that caused Jim Brady to become a huge bitch and bail on the podcast. What a pussy. But anyway, that's just me. So I go walking into the Meijer, and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? I did this. I put my shirt up over my nose, and I'm holding onto it while I'm walking to the store so it won't slip off of my gigantic nose. So I'm walking around Meijer like that. I'm like, that's all I need is to be. And actually, for a period of time, it slipped off, and I was walking around with nothing on my face, and I felt like such an asshole. And I'm like, man, if somebody sees this, I'm going to get my ass kicked right in the store. So forget this. So I put the TC Paintball shirt back over my face. Yeah, that's right. I wear the same shirt 2 days in a row. And then, go on to the store and get what I need to get. All right. Thank you, Kent County Health Department. Flu shots, you need them. They got them. Vaccinations for the kids, they need them. They got them. You can reach out to the Kent County Health Department about getting that 100% free if you qualify. accesskent.com/health. Talking health with Nurse Mary was a big hit. She is just a dynamo. A force of nature is Nurse Mary. I loved having Nurse Mary on the podcast. Awesome. Thank you, Kent County Health Department. Speaking of health, or anything but health, Jesus. Ron Jeremy, who, when it comes to pornography, it's a good thing he got in on old school pornography. And I don't know, maybe they were hard up for talent back when it all started, and they needed a body. Actually, Ron Jeremy, I've seen him when he's young, like his actual features. He looks like shit right now. He looks like a homeless man with some type of terrible disease. He is a horrible-looking human being. He's always been fat and hairy, and his hairline's receding. He's in no way attractive in any way, shape, or form. But he's got a huge Johnson. He's apparently, when it's fully aroused, it's over 9 inches long, which is about half as long as Big Dick Donnie Veltman's. So you get when he's young, he didn't look like a complete monster like he does now. So he was like, all right, man, here we go, Ron Jeremy. And I did not know this, but I was reading on his Wikipedia entry, and I did research this and see it. And you can see it if you search for it. His pecker is so big that he can actually put it in his mouth. Now, the images I saw, they were all horrible, but in some of them, he's able to bend over and actually do it himself. He can actually fillet his penis. And there's also other ones where he bends, he's on his back, and he curls up in a ball, and you can actually see his hairy asshole, and it's just like, what the fuck is this? Now don't act like you won't check this out. If you're within the sound of my voice, I guarantee you're going to look at it. You're going to look up Ron Jeremy sucks his own dick, and you're going to find it, and you're going to go, oh, my God. Because that is something you don't see every day, a guy being able to do that. I'm not going to lie to you. If I had that ability, I would not leave the house. So he actually has had that ability, and I didn't even know that was a possible thing. This had never occurred to me in my entire life until when I saw this story about these rape charges being levied against him. And while researching for it, I said, wait, is this true? This guy can do this? And I don't know if he can do it now because he's fat as shit and he's old. But what the fuck? Man, that is a rarity right there. Jeremy charged with 20. He's already in trouble. 20 additional sexual assault counts involving 12 women and a teen girl that date back to 2004. Now, the district attorney in Los Angeles has been cracking down on incidents like this that people are accused of in the entertainment industry. This is kind of all tied in with Harvey Weinstein. So when these complaints come across their desk about people in the entertainment industry in that part of California, they've got like a task force that's investigating. So sure enough, the complaint against this idiot who earlier pleaded not guilty to 3 alleged rapes, includes 5 counts of forcible rape and lewd conduct with a 15-year-old girl. He pleaded not guilty to the additional charges in court on Monday. 67-year-old Ron Jeremy Hyatt, his real name, was ordered to return to court in October when a date for a preliminary hearing is expected to be scheduled. Earlier accused of raping a 25-year-old woman at a home in West Hollywood in May of 14. Well, you got to be let's just assume for a second that this is true. If you are what is the number one in the history of the adult film industry, no one has appeared in more films than Ron Jeremy. And it's ridiculous how many films. I think it's like 2,000 films. Basically, if you're Ron Jeremy, there's probably only a handful of people in the world today who have had more sex than Ron Jeremy. And the fact that he looks as horrible as he does was still able to land roles just because of his name is insane. But if you're a person who can at any moment have sex with whomever, and you can even suck your own dick, why would you feel the need to ever rape anybody? You can have sex with any hot chick whenever you want in the porn industry because of your influence. And you can actually fillet yourself. That reason alone, if you fillet yourself, it's, oh man, I'm feeling like raping somebody, I better suck my own dick. I mean, how does this even add up? In fact, I would use that if I'm Ron Jeremy as my defense. If I'm in front of the judge, there's all these women lined up saying Ron Jeremy raped me, I would just say, Your Honor, yes, Mr. Jeremy, I can suck my own dick. Here, let me show you. And then he sucks his own dick and says, there is no way I would ever rape anybody if I can do this. And the judge would say, innocent, set this man free. Oh my God, he just sucked his own dick on the floor of my chambers. He was earlier accused of raping a 25-year-old woman at a home in West Hollywood in May of 14, also charged with raping a 33-year-old woman and sexually assaulting a 46-year-old woman on separate occasions at a West Hollywood bar in 2017 and raping a 30-year-old woman at the same bar last July. Now, the new charges span a 16-year period. The charge involving a 15-year-old girl stems from a June 2004 party in Santa Clarita where she was allegedly assaulted by Ron Jeremy, prosecutors said. Boy, I'm curious. If you are the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department doing this 2-year investigation that led to these charges, I mean, there should be some type of evidence involved, and I'm wondering what that is. I'll be anxious to follow this story and say, what do you – I mean, because anybody can say someone raped me. But if you've convinced the county to pursue the charges, there has to be something more. So I'm wondering what it is. If it's more than just an account from a person. This all makes Jeremy the third man to be charged, along with Harvey Weinstein and producer David somebody, by a task force formed by District Attorney Jackie Lacey in 2017 to investigate sexual misconduct in the entertainment industry. Well, yeah, and all this time, all you've gotten is the king of porn, Harvey Weinstein, and some producer nobody's heard of. I'd call that a pretty unsuccessful task force at this point in time. We'll wait to see what the hell happens to the hedgehog. And they're like, hey, when I was reading about Ron Jeremy being able to fillet himself, why he's called the hedgehog. And you might be like, because he's hairy. No, that's not it at all. When he was young, the story goes, he was in like a sauna or a really hot shower. And he got out of the shower, and his skin was bright pink with all of the hair sticking out. So that is what made him look like a hedgehog, and that's how he earned the name the Hedgehog. Little Ron Jeremy trivia there. I know more about Ron Jeremy than the average bear. You learned on this podcast a lot. You learned about Big Dick Donnie. You learned about him opening his bowling alley. Zaniac Kevin in Muskegon and his podcast. You learned about Ron Jeremy, how he got the name Hedgehog, and how he can fillet himself. All here on the Eric Zane Show podcast. If you know somebody that's down in their luck and they would like something amazing happen to them, let's say you have a friend or a family member who, maybe they would benefit knowing that somebody cares about them and they would like a furnace upgrade. I want you to nominate that person. I'll take care of the rest. All you have to do is nominate that person anonymously. When I say anonymously, don't tell them that you're doing this. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. At the end of this month, end of September, one person will be selected from the stories received. And that person, in former Eric Zane Show podcast show, I should say, former Free Beer and Hot Wings show member Eric Zane, when we were doing the holiday break-ins, it's the same thing, but it's for one thing. It's going to be a furnace install from A&E Heating and Cooling. Send me an email, subject line, Joe Martinez, furnace, A&E, all in the subject line. Any one of those things. I'll know what it is. Put that in the subject line, and then give me the story of this person. What's going on? How are they down on their luck? What are they struggling with? How great they would feel when Joe Martinez shows up and installs a brand spanking new high efficiency furnace. When they see that, they're going to be like, yeah, this is awesome. The big emotional boost that they get doesn't necessarily be where they're like, their thing is broken. They just need some love. Okay? Send me an email, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. We will read the emails of all the entries we have received. This will be a very hard thing to do. We will have to select one. And it does worry the shit out of me that of all the entries we receive and only one is chosen, that, we do have to make that decision. And that's going to be hard to notify those people that, hey, we went a different direction. But that's the nature of the beast. That's the way it has to be. But do send it along, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. And includes furnace or Joe Martinez or A&E Heating and Cooling in the subject line, and we'll take care of the rest. Okay. So Mariah Carey, this is that witch hunt that's been out against Ellen DeGeneres for God knows how long, and I am no longer buying it. It just seemed a little weird and out of the blue to me when it all got started about the you have 1,000 people working there, and everybody's like, okay, let's cancel Ellen because they're mean to people there. And I think that you need to be very careful if you say, yeah, mean to people in the workplace. Well, how? I need specifics, because if you have somebody who is there at the workplace and is a ball breaker and saying, no, fucking, you did it wrong. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't have a problem with any of that. That's the way I operate when I work with people. And I have no problem telling people exactly what I think when it comes to how I want things done. Now, I mean, truth be told, that's part of the reason why I'm not working, but I have no problem with that. I have no problem telling a person in the workplace, I think you're awesome. I think you're doing a good job, but this is fucking bullshit. And I love you, but you got to do better. That's the quickest way to get shit done. And you either sink or swim. So I have no problem with any of that. If she's mean to people over how she wants her fucking show run. And so all these assholes are saying, fucking cancel Ellen, she's mean. 1,000 people work for that show. 1,000. You want to cancel that show, you're going to put all those people out of work. As it is, I never liked how she was kind of sucking up to them. She is a little woke, and I don't mean that in a good way. With the we will do better bullshit, I wish she would have doubled down and said, yeah, everybody can eat my asshole and suck my dick. Because that's not how it is, and if you don't like it, get the fuck out. A lot of great people work here, and we love them dearly, but this is bullshit. And then 3 producers lost their job. So fuck that shit. And then there was Sofia Vergara. Everybody was like, well, look, Ellen's a racist because she's making fun of her fucking accent. Oh, shit. And then Vergara said, I was in on the joke. Sorry, guys, nothing to see here. And then everybody's like, we still got to cancel her. Eat shit and die. All right. Mariah Carey now, well after the fact, this fucking big titty bitch is just spinning out and going after Ellen and saying that Ellen caused her baby to die. Listen to this shit. She's saying that this caused her to have a miscarriage.
You all of a sudden have a craving. Andy, bring out, I have things for you.
Okay, so, let me give you the specifics of the bit. It was rumored that Carey was pregnant. Ellen has a bit worked out where she's trying to finagle it out of her, okay, whether or not she's pregnant. So far after the fact, now Carrie is throwing DeGeneres under the bus, saying, "Oh, she pried it out of me. She was pulling it out of me and made me so uncomfortable. Shortly after, I had a miscarriage." So she's insinuating that Ellen killed her baby. Now, I have not yet heard Ellen respond to this, and I hope she does. I hope she gets sick and tired of being treated like shit and comes out and says, yeah, she was in on it. I'm waiting to hear that. So this is I just heard the dog drinking water, got my attention. I thought Bruce was puking. This is the horrible thing that Ellen did for Mariah Carey and her big tits.
First of all, I want you to have anything you want should you all of a sudden have a craving. Andy, bring out, I have things for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I have apple cider and I have
now, how much
pickles.
to be sure that that's apple cider, Ellen?
I promise you, I would not do that to you. Why would
Okay.
I do that to you?
Well, I don't know.
It's apple cider. You have a baby. I'm not going to give you anything else. So let's just talk about something. Can I guess the sex? Do you mind?
I would prefer not.
Because they have little things, right?
Well, yes, but you can wait to see those things, or
All
you
right.
cannot see those
then
things.
I won't even give you
because that's
my
part of
impression.
the problem. That was my whole thing, where I was like, what?
What about the room at home? Are you going to I know you.
It's
You're going to
called
want to
gender neutral.
Okay, so you're doing that? to the
I don't
room?
know. Honestly, I don't know.
I know you, and you're going to want pink if it's a girl, and you're going to
Okay,
want.
now she hasn't said anything. And so Ellen is kind of doing this and making her like, oh, come on now. And it started with the bringing the apple cider or whatever. And there's some, I think she actually, if I'm understanding correctly, there's supposed to be a taste test where it's an alcoholic beverage or a non-alcoholic beverage. Take a sip, and whichever one she takes, like if she were to take an alcoholic drink, and that would mean she's not pregnant. And then the apple cider, the one with no alcohol, would mean she's pregnant. So that's stupid, the bit. All right, I just started it over. Don't want that.
Room at home, are you going to I know you.
It's
You're going to
called
want to.
gender neutral.
Okay, so you're doing that? to the
I don't
room?
know. Honestly, I don't know.
I know you, and you're going to want pink if it's a girl, and you're going to want
I'm
blue
not
if
going
it's
to
a boy.
impose pink on a girl. You think I'm
No?
going to really go that hard with it?
She's
That's
gonna
how
have
you get the exact
when that
opposite.
baby comes out, you're gonna have high heels on it, like immediately. You're gonna slip little tiny high heel shoes.
What do you mean?
On that baby?
What are you trying to insinuate?
That's what I was.
I don't wear those kinds of things.
Look.
And honestly, see, now you're foiled yourself. Because see, look at the sensible shoe. Look at the heel.
Yes.
See, if you're gonna do a close up, show the bottom of the foot.
We're showing it.
These are Alaya. I think they're very well made. Because look at the bottom. I even wore them on. I just did Extreme Home Makeover.
Yeah.
And I wore these shoes all through like the.
I think we're also learning how terrible this show is. I would almost rather listen to Zaniac, Zaniac Kevin's clip of the day. Maybe not. All right, hang on.
To me, everything's wilderness. That's not pavement, but it worked. The shoes are good.
For at home. I got you some slippers, so that
But I have these already.
All right, so she's showing her the stupid high-heeled slippers for when she's at home.
Isn't Nick trying to get you out of high heels?
You told me you're
Nick
on the
Cannon, husband at the time.
I heard. From her.
Nick wants you because that can't be as comfortable to walk around.
But you know what the funny thing is, Ellen, and I think we may have talked about this. My feet, like when I was born, that's how they are.
Okay,
They're
so
permanently
they've gotten off of the topic of pregnancy.
I really mean it. I don't know why. And my babysitter used to make fun of me when I was little because they'd see me walking and tiptoeing like the dolls.
Now, this is it. That's all that was said.
You can't. Even if you're
I'm trying.
Even if you're in tiptoes, you're gonna.
Tiptoes is on my.
You're
I'm always
still
on my
walking that
tippy-toes.
way, so you might as well be in a heel.
Right,
you're saying.
barefoot. I'm always on my. So Nick's always like, "Come down. Where are you? You're always, up in the sky."
All right, so that's it. That's I don't think there was any more to it, but the headline: Mariah Carey says miscarriage happened after Ellen DeGeneres needled her about pregnancy. When the singer appeared on DeGeneres' show in 2008, she was like a lot of women whose fear of miscarriage makes them wary about sharing pregnancy news too soon. Okay. She shares in this interview that Be Kind advocate Ellen DeGeneres violated the common courtesy and empathy that's granted to women who worry about miscarriage in the early months of their pregnancies. Yeah, if you think for a second that she wasn't aware of what was about to happen, you're insane. Now, totally expect DeGeneres to say nothing about this. I wish she would. But, I mean, seriously, was that such a big deal? Carrie, 50 years old, told Vulture that DeGeneres left her feeling extremely uncomfortable when she needled the singer to prematurely reveal her pregnancy on the show in 2008. The fact that this is even coming out so far after the fact is ridiculous. Carrie said her discomfort was due to the fact that the pregnancy ended. Wait a minute. Carrie said her discomfort was due to the fact that the pregnancy ended in a miscarriage soon after the appearance. So you're uncomfortable after the fact, or you were uncomfortable then? Because you're saying both. You're saying DeGeneres left her feeling extremely uncomfortable when she needled her, and then after the fact, she felt uncomfortable. Yeah, I think you're using the word uncomfortable way too much here concerning Ellen here. I was extremely uncomfortable with that moment is all I can say. And I really have had a hard time grappling with the aftermath. Now, I will say this, losing a child, that's the worst thing that could possibly happen. Diane and I have been through that. But this whole witch hunt against DeGeneres, and I'm not sure why this is happening. Does this have something to do with her watching a fucking Dallas Cowboys game with George W. Bush, however long ago that was? Why has this become a thing where people are throwing all this shit at her? And I don't even care for the show. I mean, it's just bullshit. This is cancel culture eating one of its own, is what it is. I mean, it's getting bad when cancel culture starts to actually consume the cancelers. I can't say for sure she's the canceler, but I would think that you would have patience for someone like Ellen. While DeGeneres has enjoyed a reputation for being extremely solicitous towards celebrities, she nonetheless pushed Carrie to confirm or deny that she had then her and her husband Nick Cannon were expecting. This is all bullshit. DeGeneres is said to be fighting for the future of her talk show and her reputation. Over the past couple of months, multiple employees have alleged that the show fostered a toxic work culture. That's another word that's used way too much. Toxic. If you get yelled at work because you suck, that's not toxic. That's you getting yelled at because you suck. Okay? If you suck at work, you deserve to get yelled at. Sorry, that's the way it is. If you're costing money and time because you're shitty at your job, they're going to try to get you to change your ways. And if you don't get it right, they're going to kick you out and bring someone else in who can. I mean, that's the way it should be in the workplace. At least that's what I always thought. But apparently not. So we shall see. Mariah Carey basically accusing Ellen DeGeneres of killing her baby. Unbelievable. Hey, the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage reminds you that they can help you if you're looking for a mortgage. NMLS number 3035. Call Mario at 231-332-6505, okay? The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Whether it's your first-time mortgage or you've done this many, many times in the past, the jovial, friendly nature of Mario will win you over very, very quickly. I'm trying to create a combining of the superpowers. We had something positive happen between West Michigan and, the entire nation's number one mortgage guy, Mario Flores, and West Michigan's king in realty, Henry Steffes. Okay? I'm trying to merge them to be best buddies. Okay? And, in the mortgage and real estate world, if you can have a tandem team working hand in hand, we're not there yet. But I highly encourage you, from my perspective, to get your mortgage from Mario Flores and then have Henry be your realtor. Okay? The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage at 231-332-6505. If you're paying rent, you can get a mortgage. Trust me. In the rare instance that you can't, Mario will tell you what you need to do to get one. Things aren't as bad as you think. 231-332-6505. The kings of DIY awesomeness in the Northland. Say it with me now. Baldwin Ace Hardware. Mike and Jennifer Gilmurray are up north. doing great things. And as this tourist season winds down, as screwed up as it's been, I want you to consider Baldwin Ace Hardware for everything you need when you go up north. Forget the big box store. Get it at Baldwin Ace Hardware. They are awesome. I encourage you to go see them on the edge of the Manistee National Forest in Baldwin, Michigan. Okay. Last but certainly not least, excuse me, my friends over at Stella Fly. Okay. Let's just say Big Dick Donnie opens up his bowling alley. Howard City Lanes. He's got a Facebook page attached to it. He's got a Twitter feed. He's got Instagram. He's on LinkedIn. Well, Big Dick Donnie is too busy, trying to stuff his big fat dick into his tidy whities. He doesn't have time while he's trying to sign up people for league night to be operating his social media. What does he do? Well, there's one company that will do it for you. That is StellaFly. Reach out to the folks at StellaFly, StellaFly.com, on how they can take your social media presence and really put it into high gear, like rocket fuel high gear. Utilizing social media is one of the key ways to get people into your business. It's free, not StellaFly, they're not free, but since social media is free for you to use, you should be utilizing it. If your posts are like 6 days old, you're doing it wrong. You should be posting much more than that to people about your great business. StellaFly will teach you and do it for you. StellaFly.com. Thank you for being part of this podcast. By the way, thanks to Bleeding Heart Brian for sending me the Ron Jeremy story. Thanks to Kevin in Muskegon, the host of the Eric Zane Show, Zaniac's Global Clip of the Day.
The clip of the day.
For sending this story. I can't imagine how much fun I will be having as I'm watching a drone fly into the front yard to drop off something from Amazon. This is happening, folks. It's been talked about for some time, and they've been testing this since 2013. So, if you choose something to buy and it's under 5 pounds, in very short order, if you're on Amazon Prime, you're going to buy it. Let's say you got a 1 pound dildo from that you're buying from Zaniac Amanda, and it's got a big fist on the end of it, and you press buy and deliver. A drone is going to go to Amanda's house, pick up the dildo, and fly it to your house and drop it on the front lawn. This is like a big fisted dildo on the front lawn of your house from the Amazon Prime delivery drone. I'm being stupid. It's not going to go to Amanda's house, and that isn't the way it works. But essentially, if you buy something on Amazon Prime, and you will be able to choose to have it delivered by drone. And this is going to happen. Just yesterday, according to CNBC.com, Amazon has gotten the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, approval to operate their fleet of delivery drones. A couple things I have questions about. I don't know if they just punch in an address and send it, or if there's a guy operating it. I think it would stand to reason that they just, like a GPS, punch in an address and send it off. How great is that? You know how much I'm not going to be able to stop ordering things as they fly into the drone. I also think I fly in with the drone. I also think about what's going to happen. We're going to hear all sorts of news stories of people doing stupid shit with the drone as it drops off the dildos to the residents. But what this will allow you to do is get your shit in 30 minutes or less. So you thought it was fast now with Amazon Prime when you order something and 1 day later it's there. I mean, that's, in a lot of cases, that 1 day is fast enough for me. I mean, whenever I get something, I don't need it right then. But for those people, you can absolutely do this. This is happening. They have received the federal approval to operate their fleet of Prime air delivery drones. It's a milestone that allows them to expand unmanned package delivery. The approval will give Amazon broad privileges to safely and efficiently deliver those packages to customers. The certification comes under, and it says the regulation. So they have the ability to carry property on small drones beyond the visual line of sight of the operator. This is just awesome. Man, I'm really getting on board with the unmanned thing. Not so much on the roads. I'm probably will be one of the last people to say, yeah, all right. You know, I'm just scared to death of the 18-wheeler cruising down the road with no one behind the wheel. But that will be a game changer too, I'm sure. But that's happening right now as we speak. Nobody's driving the truck, and the drones are flying. How long until we have a personal drone? Where you have a drone? I mean, if we have the ability to transport packages, okay? I mean, just make the drone a little bigger and transport people, right? And you could just step into the drone and just put in an address and just say go, and you could fly. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, because if I can just imagine the sky's full of fucking drones, and, you know, if somebody's maybe a little too fat, the drone's kind of just hovering above the ground. But still, I don't think it's that out of the question to even think like something like that won't happen in our lifetime. Amazon added that while the Prime Air fleet is not ready to immediately deploy packages delivery at scale, it's actively flying and testing the technology. That would be fun to work for that company right now in that capacity. The company is zeroed in on drone delivery as part of a push to get packages quicker to Prime members. Since last year, Amazon has also invested billions of dollars to transition from 2 to 1 day delivery. They've been testing the drones. They began testing the drones in 2013, aiming to drop off packages at customers' doorsteps in 30 minutes or less. In August of 2019, the company submitted a petition for this approval, and it was just passed. Wow. All right, there you go. You might be able to get your package delivered to you in 30 minutes or less from Amazon. Absolutely exciting. I love that. Okay. This last thing I got for you, man, I feel good for this guy, but it also scares the shit out of me. And it's just sickening. 1976, some town in North Carolina, 20-year-old dude, Ronnie Lang, black guy, of course, is accused of sneaking into some white lady's home and raping her. 54-year-old woman. Everybody's like, "Ah, man, it was that Ronnie Lang. It was that Ronnie Long, I should say, not Lang. Ronnie Long. He did it." He's like, "I didn't do anything." Well, of course, an all-white jury in North Carolina said, "Oh, yeah, that was the guy. He did it. He's a black guy. He did it," and locked him away. So for 44 years. Thank God there's organizations like Duke University Law School's Wrongful Convictions Clinic. You ever see these groups? This is like the type of people that you've heard about the Innocence Project, where they just kind of like review cases and go, "I think this one's fucked up. I think we should take this one on." And they do it like gratis. And what they do is they have like a lot of young people that are getting into law who are just kind of getting their feet under them. And they're real hungry, and you get like a fresh set of eyes on a case that are in these little educational entities. And then a lot of times that set of eyes is able to determine that, hey, we think something happened here that was not at all correct, and you have a wrongful conviction. Thank God that these exist and it makes me wonder why Stephen Avery and the other dude have not been let out of prison. But anyway, this guy, 44 years behind bars, just freed. Suddenly released 64-year-old Ronnie Long late last week. The state of North Carolina admitted we can no longer defend this case and asked a court to vacate the convictions. Now, even though the state of North Carolina had mounting evidence piles of evidence that when this man was prosecuted in 1976, that things were done not only poorly, but illegally to try to just pin it on the black guy. I mean, like glaring problems, which I'll get to. It still took plenty of time for the state of North Carolina to stop fighting that fight. I mean, it takes way too long. And I know they got to run out the ground ball, but I mean, this was just blatant. The state's abrupt and unexpected reversal on the case came after a federal appeals court said that the dude had been a victim of extreme and continuous police misconduct back then. They wanted to pin it on the black guy. They didn't give a shit who did it. They just wanted the black guy, which is just so ridiculous. So for 44 years, he's been Ronnie Long has had to deal with this and stay in prison. He's always said, I didn't do it. And they said, yeah, whatever. 48 Hours correspondent from CBS, Aaron Moriarty, spoke to Long in his first sit-down interview since his release. He says to be able to walk out of them gates without being supervised, it was breathtaking. Dude said 44 years. My God. His lawyer is Jamie Lau with the Duke University Law School Wrongful Convictions Clinic. Was first called with the news, Long was called by the lawyer with the news. Long couldn't quite believe he was really going home. You serious? He recalled the state can't go back on their word, right? They're going to stick to what they say. In fact, the state kept its word, finally ending the quest to clear his name. Long, in 1976, accused of breaking into a home in Concord, North Carolina, and raping a 54-year-old white woman, Sarah Bost. No physical evidence tying him to the crime. He was convicted by the all-white jury and given an 80-year sentence. What happened? How did this even come up? It was only after spending nearly 30 years in prison that Long learned that Concord police investigators had tested more than a dozen pieces of evidence and had hidden the results. So, more than 14 years ago, it was learned that the cops had found all these different minute pieces of evidence and tested them. Now, all of those pieces of evidence pointed a very different picture about who did it. Now, when you have that evidence, not only do you have to let it be known, but you have to tell the defense that this is what we have here so that they can draw up their defense, okay? They just, threw it away. They, didn't announce that they had tested this, and this is what came back as the result, because those results would exonerate Long. It would show that he wasn't even there. It would show that other people were there. It was that blatant. So, excuse me, that is completely fucked up. And so all of those more than 1 dozen pieces of evidence, those results were hidden. That evidence, as Attorney Lau described in an interview last month, supported all of Long's statements that he did not do this. Now, how would you like to be the investigators who, out of all of the people that are working that case, you mean to tell me we live in such a fucked up world that they can look at all of these pieces of evidence that would exonerate and clear the name of an innocent man? Even when the first investigation is going on back in 1976, there isn't 1 degree of remorse or concern that you are doing something terribly, morally horrible and illegal. And everybody says, oh, boy, cover it up. And for all these years, you're okay. You can live your life knowing that an innocent man is behind bars. Man, you hear about shit, and it's like, how do people actually live with that, man? Fuck. I feel bad when I raise my voice to somebody in the household. If I yell at, yesterday, I got into an argument with Madison. I instantly felt terrible about that. How can you go ahead and end this guy's life? He lives in a living hell, knowing that you are actually forcing that to happen, and he's an innocent man. I don't know how people can even exist with that, hanging over them. The interviewer, Aaron Moriarty from 48 Hours, says, did the defense at trial know that there were 43 fingerprints found at the crime scene that didn't match Ronnie Long? No, they did not. So the defense didn't. All these fingerprints from whoever was involved in the rape were discovered, and none of them were the dudes, and they didn't even tell the defense about that. Did the defense know that there had actually been a rape kit taken, testing the victim for evidence left by the attacker, and evidence taken from the victim? Did the defense know that? They did not. Did the defense know that hair was found at the crime scene that did not match Ronnie Long? They did not. Oh my God, these are all the things that are used to convict people. They're all on scene. They didn't even acknowledge that, and they didn't even try to find the real guy. Even now, 44 years later, you could probably still match up that crime scene to who the real person is based on the what we have for technology now. I mean, you could probably go and get the guy. He's probably an older dude like Ronnie Long here is. But what the fuck? Attorneys for the state argued that none of this would have changed the original verdict. Are you crazy? How? And Long remained in prison for years. Despite the growing protests and demands for his release. So they've known all that for 14 plus years, that all of those things existed. Didn't come out initially. And even when they found it out, the state said, nope, that's not cause for a overturning of the conviction, at least a new trial. I mean, come on. Long said, I'm 64, I'm going on 65. They took my life away from me when I was 20 years old. I ain't got nothing but memories. But yet and still, you say the evidence collected in the case was immaterial? Until last week, when the Fourth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals finally ruled that his rights had been violated by, quote, a troubling and striking pattern of deliberate police suppression of material evidence. Then the North Carolina Attorney General's office decided to no longer fight the case and ask for Long's release. My God, what a catastrophe. CBS this morning was with Long when he got the good news, as Lau told him. So he actually got the phone call when the reporters were there. He said, we just got the dismissal from the Calaveras County District Attorney's office. You're clear entirely. The dismissal of all charges officially gives back to Long his innocence and his life. He has a lot of catching up to do. He's got a lot more catching up to do than just time, money, cheddar, cold, hard cash. Even if, all right, let's start to do some math. 44 years. I mean, what do you want to put down for amount earned per year? I mean, you got to throw a figure at a potential earning for a year. 44 years. I don't know. Just take the median income from every year, okay, and then add all those up, and then like for each of the 44 years, let's say if 1976 the median income was $13,000, and by 2020 the median income is obviously more. You're looking at a substantial amount of money that this guy needs to be owed. If I'm 64, I can say, all right, I'll let it all go if you give me $5 million. $5 million. I've got not that many years of life. I don't know, maybe, how much would you ask for? $10 million? Shit. And I'm always amazed at the peaceful nature of these people when they get out of prison. I'll link up the story. You'll be able to see this dude and how joyful he is. He's just a loving 64-year-old guy who nobody gave up on him. And here he is trying to get his life back. And I mean, because if it were me, I'd be so pissed off. I would be, as I leave prison, I would be pointing the mad finger at the camera and say, North Carolina, I'm coming after you. I'm going to bend you over and I'm going to put my big black dick right in your jurisdiction of your butthole to get my money. Pay me my money, or you're getting black dick from every day from now until eternity. Give me my money. Holy shit. Long wants to spend time with his family, including his wife, Ashley, whom he married in 2014, and visited the graves of his parents. He said, I know my mother and father died with a broken heart. Oh, God. 10 million. I say 10 million. The Attorney General's office declined an interview. Why, you pussies? Step up and say something. Next step for Long and his attorneys is to ask Governor Roy Cooper for what is called a pardon of innocence. I guess you need that to collect money from a state fund that gives money to the wrongfully convicted. Boy, if you're that governor, man, you want to get some positive vibes coming your way. I don't know. Is he a right-wing governor, or is he a righty or a lefty? Does that have anything to do with it? Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina, you got to do something about that. That is absolutely unbelievable. Jesus. Cannot imagine 44 years behind bars. Let's see. Go to the email eric@ericzaneshow.com. You can reach out to me on the Green Clean Technologies inbox. All right. Sean writes this. Zane, with the news made public by Zaniac Kenny in Nashville, with Kenny being single, is there a chance that we see a reintroduction in the legendary Ari Zane sex agent? Ari Zane presents Hilljack Kenny's Michigan Poontang Adventure, is how he describes it. Yeah, I'm all for that. Look, ladies, especially the Michigan crew, you got to understand, he is coming to town. We have the TC Paintball War number 10. Oh my God, they killed Kenny paintball event. That happens. Coming up early on in September. I'm sorry, October. I'm fucking this up. What did we say? October 3rd? Isn't that what we said? October 3rd? Yes, it is. October 3rd is the next paintball event. Kenny will be here for that. So, ladies, I know you can't resist the charm, the love, the sweetness. Who wouldn't want to be treated like a queen, at least for one night? Now, you might not be looking for a long-term sexual adventure. Kenny is. He wants a wife. Kenny does not want to be lonely. But if Kenny gives me the approval, I will allow one of you hot Zaniac women to climb Mount Kenny. Okay, but you must reach out to Ari Zane's sex agent on behalf of Hilljack Kenny, Zaniac Kenny in Nashville, Tennessee. So that is definitely something that I will be considering. If you want more information, reach out to me, eric@ericzaneshow.com. All right. Let's see. Zaniac Tim says, Zane, I'm not trying to, he's emailer Tim, as he's known. I'm not trying to start any shit. I'm just saying when you say analytics are written in crayon, it looks a little suspect. Best wishes. That is one of many emails that emailer Tim writes, that the jokes just don't land. This guy, he's kind of a twat, and I don't even know what the hell he does for a living. I think he's some type of manufacturing. Typically, his emails are like on the fly, and he just writes what's on his brain. No one gets the jokes. So he also follows up with, LOL, you're the only person when it comes to Kevin's business cards who will advertise on your brother-in-law's medical card. Something like, excuse me, I have a condition. Listen to the Eric Zane Show podcast. All right, that's not bad. Zane, more proof you are a liberal socialist, emailer Tim writes. How can you possibly argue that you're anything but a liberal socialist after being on Bleeding Heart Brian's playlist? Sounds pretty diverse. Good luck, comrade. Well, Tim, I don't know, man. Just because he listens to what I say doesn't mean he can't be a left-leaner. What the fuck? I mean, everybody knows how I feel about things, and I've said it before. I'm voting for Trump. How can I be a liberal socialist, you stupid twat? Tim's one of those right-leaning guys who you're like, well, I'm glad that my team's getting a vote, but I sure don't want to hang out with them. I mean, just fucking look at them for starters. Jesus, what a mess. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the Eric Zane Show podcast for the 1st of September. More coming up on the Patreon. I'm looking forward for you to checking it out. I've got a handful of new people that we just signed up. I will be reaching out to each and every one of you within the next day or so about your free Patreon memberships provided for you by Bennett Floyd Installation or Zadiac Kenny, or in fact an anonymous person who signed up to help you out with that. So I'll be reaching out to all those winners. Some of you I reached out to yesterday, so enjoy that free Patreon for you, and I hope that you keep it going when it runs out. All right. Thanks again for being part of this one, though. The free podcast rolls on for yet another day. Till next time, have a great one. Bye-bye.